629-2661. All right, let's head on over to Tom in Kissimmee. Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Larry?
We're doing great, Tom.
Great. I called you many times before, especially for my 92 Pastiva. But I'm calling on behalf of my brother. He lives in Clearwater. He's a retired teacher, and he happens to have a 2000 Jaguar XJ8. He's having problems with the car constantly with the transmission. He changed it out twice. And this is like the third time he's got a mechanic to change it over. He used another car that he took it off, and supposedly the car had a very low mileage, like 34,000 miles. So the car was like sitting for a while, for about 3 or 4 years. I was wondering, he already changed it out. He's driving. It seems to be driving okay. But I was thinking, what should I do? Or should he flush it out, or maybe put the Amsoil in the system, or what do you think he should do with that?
Well, that one's probably got a. Do you know? Well, I guess that he's probably got a ZF transmission in it.
ZF1, huh?
Okay, yeah. They use a little bit of a different type of fluid. They use what is called a. It's the same thing that Mercedes uses in those ZF transmissions. That's one that I really hate to. We hate to go and switch it around, because it's had that different type of fluid in it all of its life. It's a different viscosity is what it is. It's actually a little bit thicker than a conventional automatic transmission fluid. And it's not even red. It's actually amber in color. It looks more like an oil than it does a transmission fluid. But it is a different viscosity than your fluids, your dextrons and everything else that's made, your red fluids and your blue fluids that Mopar uses and stuff like that. It's an amber colored fluid, and it's expensive too. I think it's like $40 a liter if you use the correct fluid that goes back in that transmission. Do you know whether they did a service on it whenever they installed it?
No, that's the thing. I was hoping they would do a service, but they didn't really have much time. They were pretty much booked with other cars, so they just changed over the transmission, and that's basically it. I was just thinking maybe they should do like a flush and put new fluid. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't recommend flushing anything on it, Tom. The reason I don't do flushes. I'll change the fluid, or we'll drop the pan and replace the filter in the fluid, but I don't really do flushes. If it's something where it was contaminated, with coolant or something like that, I will add fluid to it, and I'll literally take the cooler lines loose and just pump it out, with the engine running into a bucket. Sometimes a transmission cooler will go bad, and I'll do that to get all the fluid out of it. But to go and use a flushing machine, I do not recommend doing that, because what happens is if you flush it, it'll actually knock debris loose inside the transmission, in and around the valve body and areas and little things that would otherwise never hurt anything with the transmission. Flushing a transmission is really a horrible thing to do. There's not one manufacturer that recommends it. Not one. Out of all different car manufacturers, not one recommends flushing a transmission. It just disturbs things that otherwise would never, ever hurt anything in the transmission. Just doing a drain and fill or a pan drop and changing the filter, those are the procedures that just seems to never get anybody in trouble. And even if you don't get every drop of fluid out of it, just getting new fluid in a transmission is going to extend the life, because you're fortifying even what fluid is left in the transmission. So it makes a big difference just getting some new fluid in there. It'll refortify it and pretty much get your additives and your vitamins back where it needs to be to help protect the thing. Listen, we do appreciate your call, Tom, and tell your brother good luck with that transmission. I hope it works out good for him. Them ZFs can be a little bit of a pain to rebuild. I've done many of them. Thanks for tuning in. You listeners and customers, show sponsors are the reason we do the show, and I have a job. You can tune in every Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time in Central Florida on 107.3 FM, HD Radio 96.5 2 and AM 580. worldwide at wdbo.com, and click Listen Live, or just tell your smart speaker, Alexa, play WDBO Radio every Saturday at 3 p.m. If you need help with your car, you can always call Magic Mechanic at 407-629-2661. Visit our website, magicmechanic.com, or you can also email your car questions directly to me, Larry at magicmechanic.com. Until next week, be safe in and out of your car, and we'll see you back here next Saturday at 3 p.m.